I was in my kitchen one afternoon. The TV was on, but I was not really watching it. A show about some women and their church was playing in the background. One young woman was talking to her mother. Her mother wanted her to follow many rules. The daughter wanted freedom, but she was afraid to lose her family and her place in the church. I stopped making my lunch and listened carefully. Something in her story touched me deeply. I understood her feelings. She wanted to be herself, but she also wanted people to accept her. I think many people feel this way. We all want love, connection, and belonging. We want people to stay with us. But sometimes we hide parts of ourselves to make other people comfortable. We try to act in the right way so nobody gets upset with us. We smile when we are sad. We say yes when we want to say no. We become smaller just to keep peace with others. For many years, I lived like this too. I cared too much about what people thought about me. I wanted everyone to like me. I wanted everyone to be happy with me. I thought this was normal. I thought this was love. But slowly, I started to see the truth. I was not living for myself. I was living for other people's approval. I was afraid to disappoint anyone. I was afraid people would leave me if I showed my real feelings. So I hid many parts of myself. I stayed quiet. I agreed with people even when I felt different inside. I tried to be easy, kind, and helpful all the time. I wanted to earn love by being good enough. But inside, I often felt tired and lonely. I did not understand why. Almost 7 years ago, my life started to change. The world changed during the pandemic. I spent more time alone. I also had many responsibilities at home. Life became difficult and stressful. During this time, I started therapy. Therapy helped me look honestly at my life. I began to notice how much I changed myself for other people. I noticed how often I ignored my own needs. I saw how much energy I spent trying to make everyone comfortable. For the first time, I asked myself an important question. What do I actually want? That question scared me because I did not know the answer. I had spent so many years thinking about other people that I forgot about myself. Slowly, I stopped trying so hard to please everyone. I became quieter. I stopped saying yes to everything. I stopped forcing myself to join every event or conversation. Some people did not understand the changes in me. Some people became distant. My circle became smaller. At first, this hurt me deeply. I cried many times. I felt lonely in a way I had never felt before. Sometimes I felt anxious even during normal days. I wondered if I was making a terrible mistake. I wondered if something was wrong with me. But even during the pain, something inside me was changing. I started to feel more honest. I started to notice when I was pretending. I started to hear my own thoughts more clearly. Before, my mind was always full of other people's voices, opinions, and expectations. Now, there was more silence. The silence felt uncomfortable at first, but slowly it became peaceful. I began to understand that I did not need to earn my place in every room. I did not need to make everyone happy all the time. I did not need to hide myself to deserve love. This was not an easy lesson. Even now, I still struggle sometimes. I still feel lonely. I still feel afraid when people pull away from me. Sometimes, I still want to go back to my old habits because they feel safe and familiar. It is hard to stop caring about approval when you spent your whole life searching for it. But now I can see things more clearly. I understand that real connection should not require self-betrayal. Love should not mean losing yourself. Friendship should not mean hiding your feelings all the time. I also learned that healing is not simple. It is not a straight line. Sometimes you feel strong and free. Other times you feel sad and lost again. Both feelings can exist together. You can feel lonely and also feel proud of yourself. You can miss people and still know they were not healthy for you. You can feel fear and still move forward. I think this is part of becoming more honest with yourself. I used to believe freedom would feel exciting all the time. I thought freedom would feel light and happy immediately. But real freedom is quieter than that. Sometimes freedom feels uncomfortable because it asks you to stop pretending. It asks you to sit alone with your true thoughts and feelings. It asks you to trust yourself instead of following the crowd. That can feel scary, but it can also feel peaceful. Now, I spend more time listening to myself. I try to notice what I truly feel instead of what I think other people want from me. I am still learning. I am still growing. But I no longer want to organize my whole life around other people's approval. I want to live honestly. I want relationships where I can be real. I want to feel calm inside my own mind. I know now that nobody is coming to save me, but I also know nobody can stop me from becoming myself. The loneliness that once felt like abandonment now feels different. Sometimes it feels like an open road. A quiet road where I can finally hear my own voice. And maybe that is what freedom really is. At the beginning of this journey, I thought being alone meant something was wrong with me. I thought loneliness was proof that I had failed. When people became distant, I blamed myself. I wondered if I was too quiet, too emotional, or too different. I wanted to fix everything quickly so people would stay close to me again. But slowly, I started to understand something important. Sometimes people leave because you stop pretending. Sometimes people are comfortable only with the version of you that always says yes. When you change, they may not know how to connect with the real you. This realization was painful, but it also helped me grow. I began to see how often I ignored my own feelings just to avoid conflict. I said yes when I was tired. I apologized even when I did nothing wrong. I stayed in conversations that drained me. I kept trying to earn love by being useful and agreeable. I thought this made me a good person, but many times it only made me exhausted. One day, I sat quietly in my room and asked myself another question. What would happen if I stopped trying to please everyone? The answer frightened me. I imagined rejection, anger, disappointment, and loneliness. But I also imagined peace. I imagined waking up without fear. I imagined speaking honestly. I imagined a life where I did not need to perform all the time. That thought gave me hope. So I started making small changes. I began saying no to things that hurt my mental energy. I stopped forcing myself to answer every message immediately. I allowed myself to rest without guilt. At first, These small actions felt selfish. But later, I understood they were healthy. I realized that caring for myself did not mean I cared less about others. It only meant I finally cared about myself too. As time passed, I became more comfortable with silence. Before, I always needed noise, conversation, or distraction. I was afraid to sit alone with my thoughts. But now I started taking quiet walks, sitting with a cup of coffee, and listening to my own mind. Sometimes I still felt sadness, but the sadness no longer controlled me. I learned that emotions are not enemies. Feelings come and go like weather. You do not need to run from every uncomfortable feeling. Sometimes you just need to let it pass through you. I also started noticing how much pressure people carry every day. Many people are afraid to disappoint others. Many people hide their true feelings because they want to belong. They laugh when they are hurting. They stay busy so they do not need to face themselves. I understood this because I lived that way for many years. And because of that, I became more compassionate. I stopped expecting perfection from myself and from others. I understood that everyone is trying to feel safe, loved, and accepted in their own way. But I also learned that true connection cannot grow from pretending. Real connection needs honesty. It needs courage. It needs space for people to be different without fear. Today, my life looks simpler than before. My circle is smaller. My days are quieter. I spend less time chasing approval and more time paying attention to what feels true to me. I still have difficult days. I still feel lonely sometimes. Healing does not remove every painful emotion. But now, when sadness appears, I do not panic the way I used to. I sit with it. I breathe through it. I remind myself that difficult feelings are temporary. I also remind myself how far I have come. Years ago, I could not even imagine living this honestly. I was too afraid, too focused on pleasing everyone around me. Now I understand that freedom is not about having a perfect life. Freedom is about no longer abandoning yourself. It is about trusting your own voice, even when it shakes. It is about making choices that respect your heart instead of constantly seeking permission from others. I think many people are secretly tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of performing. Tired of trying to fit into spaces that never truly accepted them. Maybe that is why stories about freedom touch us so deeply. We all want to feel safe enough to be ourselves. We all want relationships where we do not need to hide. And maybe healing begins the moment we stop asking, "How can I make everyone happy?" and start asking, "What kind of life feels honest to me?" That question can change everything. It changed me. I still do not have all the answers. I still make mistakes. I still feel fear sometimes. But now, I know something important. I do not need to become smaller to deserve love. I do not need to earn my place by abandoning myself. The people who truly care about me will not require me to disappear in order to belong. And the relationship I build with myself matters too. Maybe most of us spend years searching for freedom somewhere outside ourselves. We think freedom is success, attention, or approval. But maybe freedom begins much closer than that. Maybe freedom begins the moment we stop running from who we really are. Maybe freedom begins in the quiet moments, when we finally choose honesty over performance. And maybe that road is lonely sometimes, but it is also beautiful. Because at the end of that road, we finally meet ourselves.